everyone, this is Michelle. Thank you for watching this video on youth therapy today. I'm having a little difficulty getting through making this video because it's a difficult one. The topic is how to assess an abuser's claim of change. And it's difficult for a number of reasons. One is that learning to accept that someone that you love is abusing you can be such a difficult thing to do. And also, I'm going to be going through this list of, guidelines to be thinking about. And honestly, as I go through this list, I think very few people who are abusive, honestly, are capable of making such dramatic changes, and that's disheartening. But I want to believe that people can change if they decide to, and this can be sort of a wake-up call to people who are in an abusive relationship. Thinking about this list can help one make the decision to leave a relationship because it's clear that these things aren't happening. But on the flip side, if these things are happening, how fantastic and amazing. So I was asked to do this video. It's a difficult topic. Few things are more painful than thinking about someone we love abusing us, but we can't bury our heads about reality. When we are aware, we become much more aware and honest with ourselves about what's going on. We can then have the ability to make the best decisions for ourselves. This list that I'm going to go through is one created by Lundy Bancroft, who wrote the book, Why Does He Do That? And it's a book about getting inside the mind of angry and controlling men. He has worked with abusive men for numerous years and knows more than most people do about what kind of behaviors are happening in abusive relationships. So first, the two main things to be thinking about when we assess whether change is happening. The first is that the person cannot change until they are honest about their entitled and superior attitude. And doesn't matter why they have that attitude. They may have a lot of reasons why it's there, but until they're honest about that and address that, there is no real hope that change is going to happen. And the second thing is a foundation to keep in mind is a person claiming to change may be very nice. They may do nice things for you and say nice things to you sometimes, but are they being respectful to you? Have they given up being coercive? And so being nice really could be a cover for continuing abusive behavior. We may even say, oh, they're changing. They've complimented me. They bought me a gift when they never do. And that's wonderful to receive those things, but this is not impactful change. So I hope it's not too distracting for you, but because this is such a long list to use, there's so many points here that I am going to have to read them off my notes. So if it's distracting to you to see me look up and down, maybe take notes yourself so you don't have to watch me do that. So those are the two first fundamental points. And then the rest is sort of a guide of questions to ask yourself. We're looking for yes answers here as signs that an abuser is changing. The first is, has he learned to treat your opinions with respect even if he disagrees with them? Second is, are they accepting your right to express anger at them, especially when it involves their history of mistreating you? Many abusers will not accept that you are saying that you're angry, that you're hurt. And even if you say it in a respectful way, an open way, abusers will punish you for that. So are they accepting that you have a right to feel and express anger? Are they respecting your right to freedom and independence? And does that include, refraining from all interference with your friendships and giving up the demand to always know where you are and with whom? It's very nice to, and very respectful to say where you're going, where you've been, but there's a difference between that consideration for a partner and someone always, kind of focus on needing to know where you are in sort of a controlling, jailhouse keeper kind of way. Have they stopped making excuses for their treatment of you, and including using your behavior as an excuse? That's a good one. Have they, I'm going to say it again, have they stopped making excuses for their treatment of you, including using your behavior as an excuse? Are they being respectful about sex, applying no pressure, and engaging in no guilt trips? Have they stopped cheating or flirting with other people, using other behaviors that make you feel anxious that they will stray? So if you say, I'm uncomfortable with this, what are all these texts about, or what is this relationship about? This secretiveness is concerning me, whatever is happening there. Are they giving up doing behaviors that you have said you find hurtful, rather than blaming you, attacking you for having those feelings in the first place? Have they stopped talking about their abuse as if it were an accident, and using excuses for the behavior? Oh, I was triggered, that's why I treated you that way. I'm sorry that you have those needs. And do they begin to acknowledge that they use the behavior to control you? Again, they may have a million great reasons for it. Some of them may be true, but have they stopped using that as an excuse? Are they actually responding to your grievances and doing something about them? For example, changing the way they behave around other women, changing, the way they make plans and don't follow through, changing the way that they aren't taking responsibility for the children. Have they greatly reduced or eliminated all controlling behavior, such as sarcasm, rolling their eyes, loud, disgusted sighing, talking over you, using the voice of ultimate authority, and other demonstrations of disrespect and superiority during conversations or arguments? Lecturing you, like they know more. When they do slip back into controlling behavior, because this isn't about being perfect, making these kind of huge changes, we know that the person is not going to be able to be perfect, and sometimes they will slip back into controlling behavior. But when they do they take it seriously when you complain about it? And do they keep working on trying to improve it, rather than say, I've done so much change, how can you be hard on me about this, or something like that? Do they take responsibility, and are they consistent and responsible in their behavior, taking into account how their actions affect you without having to be consistently reminded? Are they making you responsible for their change, or are they taking responsibility for the change? Are they acting noticeably less demanding, selfish, and self-absorbed? Are they being fair and responsible about money, including allowing you to keep your own assets in your own name? Have they stopped the behaviors that you find threatening, hurtful, or intimidating? Have they significantly expanded their contribution to the household in child-rearing responsibilities, and stopped taking your domestic work for granted or treating you like a servant? Have they begun supporting your strengths rather than striving to undermine them? Have you had any major angry moments with them in which they have shown a new willingness to conduct themselves non-abusively. So, as change happens, if it happens, there's still going to be anger, there's still going to be conflict. We're not going to pretend it's not there and suddenly hide that. But are they able to, share anger, be angry, or listen to your anger in a non-abusive way? So again, no answers to any of the questions that I went through are cause for concern and a sign that your partner still has a lot of work they need to do, or that maybe change is not really happening. A big sign that change is happening, I think, is that they take seriously the need to change and respect that you have a right to ask for being treated with respect. How about some clear signs that someone isn't changing? They say they will only change if you change too, so kind of back to blaming you for their behavior. They say they can only change if you help them change by giving them emotional support, reassurance, forgiveness, spending a lot of time with them, making some kind of deal with you. This often means that they want to abandon any plans you had of, say, taking a break from them. Maybe you need to move out or have some space there so you can kind of connect to your wise thoughts, because sometimes when you're in an abusive relationship, you can feel that you're not in touch with your own inner wisdom and you need that space. Do they criticize you for not noticing how much they've changed? They criticize you for not trusting that the change will last. They criticize you for considering them capable of behaving abusively, even though they have in fact done so in the past, and as if you should know that they would never do something like that, even though they have. I feel like I want to make a comment about every one of these, but it's such a long list, and I know you have your own thoughts about each thing that I'm reading too, so I try to keep my comments to a minimum, but these are such a good list to think about. They tell you that they are that you are taking too long to make up your mind, that they can't wait forever for you to decide whether you're going to stay in the relationship, kind of as a way to pressure you to not take the time you need to assess, collect yourself, and really consider whether they're making the changes that you need to happen. And they say they're changing, but you don't feel it. You're not seeing it. And they may try to play some kind of mind manipulation with you, telling you that they've changed. But you also have a right to connecting to your inner wisdom and assessing for yourself whether the change is happening. So this is about, I think this list helps us to be honest with ourselves, and it's a list, to use as a guideline. But I want to be sure to say that you get to decide whether the change that you need to see happening is happening. No therapist or friend or list from the internet is going, to be the right thing necessarily for you. These are thoughts to consider. Granted, these are guidelines from someone who's got a lot of experience with a lot of abusive men, which isn't to say only men are abusive, but you can look at the stats on men and women and abuse in relationships and judge for yourself. So as you can see, I had a little difficulty getting through this whole list. It's a hard topic, and I don't like to just read off lists when I do these videos, but I do think it was important for me to get to everything on the list, so I hope that was okay that I was reading that off for you. If you missed anything, please just watch as many times as you need to in order to take notes. Write, in your journal about the issues that have been raised here, and really honor yourself and thank yourself for taking this time to think about this. Think about how you want and deserve to be treated in your life. And whatever decisions you make, it's your decision to make. You get to make it. And I will say though that, moving on in whatever way, either someone changes or you've changed by moving on in your life, will make such a significant difference in how you feel about yourself. Thank you so much for watching today. I really appreciate your time, and be well.